The CFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code SGPN. That is enough of that music. I don't have the jamming music that Colby has when we usually show up. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're just hearing my voice and saying, "Hey, that's not Colby bringing the show in." Colby said he doesn't care about the CFL in a week that doesn't even matter. Just kidding. He's traveling in Vegas for media days, so he's not joining. He will be back next week when it does matter, when we hit the playoffs. We got 1 week left until the playoffs. Not a lot can change. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But before we keep going, this is JMark, in case you're unfamiliar. And I apologize that we didn't have Colby's rockin' music. There's AI music on the program that we stream with, and I clicked indie rock. I was hoping for something with a little bit more energy than that. So apologies. Got it out of there quickly. You can find me on the Exit JMark Football, host of Old Fashioned Football, host of UFL Gambling Podcast, and of course the CFL Gambling Podcast. It was an interesting week last week where, maybe it's a good thing Colby's not here, because Colby went 8-0. He was 4-0 against the spread. He was 4-0 on totals. We wouldn't have heard the end of that. Now, granted, I was 7-1, 3-1 ATS, 4-0 on the totals. So it's not like I was far off, but we all know Colby. He gets pretty excited when he has those good weekends. So yeah, we won't talk about that, but we'll recap a little bit. We'll look at this week's games, which I know I said they don't really matter. There's some playoff implications. There's not a lot. There is a little bit, though. Let us know who you think is going to win the Grey Cup in the chat as we get closer. But yeah, let's look at what happened this past weekend, where the first game Winnipeg beat Saskatchewan 17-16, squeaked out that win, could barely beat Jake Mayer and Jack Cohn. And that's concerning to me. When you face a team that only had 161 passing yards, they only had 29 rushing yards, and you only win by a point. Couldn't capitalize in the red zone. They just couldn't. Zach Claros had 182 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Brady Oliveira had 75 rushing yards, no touchdowns though. Ontario Wilson had the lone receiving touchdown there. But it was a win that Winnipeg needed, I guess. No matter how ugly it was, they needed that win to make sure they made the playoffs. Because if they had lost and Edmonton won, then you're talking a completely different story. But they got the win, and that's all that matters, I suppose, though I would have liked to see them dominate backups a little bit better than that. Next game, BC beat Edmonton 37-24. Edmonton really didn't have a lot to play for at that point, but BC is playing for some home field advantage. Cody Fajardo didn't look good. He's looked decent as he's come back for Edmonton here, stepping in. But 3 interceptions, can't win games when you have 3 interceptions. Can't win games when Cody Fajardo is your leading rusher either, which he was. Nathan Rourke just making that push for not only the best Canadian player, but also the MOP. He had 338 yards and a touchdown. He ran for 82 yards and a touchdown. It was a good game by Nathan Rourke, proving all the people that say, well, is he really the best quarterback in the league? He is the best quarterback in the league. Shout out to Channing in the chat saying, hey, and cheers, man. Welcome. If you missed the beginning, Colby is slacking. Said he didn't care because this week didn't really matter. Just kidding. He's doing media days in Vegas. He will be back next week. So you guys are stuck with me. A solo pod is always a little, it's hard to get the flow down in a solo pod. You're just talking to yourself, but I'll do the best I can. This is going to be a quicker episode anyways, because we're just going to push through. Next game, Montreal beat the Red Blacks 39-28. High scoring game here. Davis Alexander, still undefeated as starter. He went 21 for 31, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's had a great year when healthy. Tyree Adams, shout out to Tyree Adams, who I said Ottawa's starting this guy. There's no way they're going to keep up. But he threw for 286 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 3 picks, but making your debut like that for Ottawa, that's going to happen. You're going to have those mistakes. So, it is what it is. I was, I guess, impressed by the effort that Ottawa put up because their season was over. They could have just rolled over, and they didn't. They did lose, but they didn't just roll over at least. And then finally closed out with Calgary stomping down those dirty Toronto Argonauts who threw everybody in. I mean, Jarrett Dagey he threw for 119 yards. Max Duggan threw for 109 yards. The UFL St. Louis Battlehawk Max Duggan. Battlehawk should be calling Brian Scott, just saying. And then Tucker Horn got in there too. He threw 4 for 8. Now, Dagey and Horn both threw interceptions. Duggan threw the touchdown as he got a future there. We'll have to see. Calgary, of course, winning 44-13 looked very impressive. Vernon Adams only threw the ball 14 times for 213 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dedrick Mills at 115 rushing yards and a touchdown. Just kind of a clinic. I mean, this was really just a good team facing a bad team. To me, that's what it was. So let's talk about the playoffs. Playoffs? You want to talk about the play? I do, because they're next week, and we could still have some movement here. Saskatchewan is the only one that has clinched the division. So they're the only ones guaranteed home field advantage to the playoffs. BC and Calgary are both at 10-7. So, that's something to watch. Now, Calgary does play before them. So if Calgary loses to Edmonton, BC doesn't have to care. They don't have to play. Winnipeg also at 9-8. They could jump into that 10-8 if the other two are 10-8. That'll be a 3-way tie there, and then it'll go to I guess the tiebreakers, which I believe is record against each other. I don't have that in front of me. And then in the East Division, you got Hamilton and Montreal that made the playoffs, but they're both 10-7. So if Hamilton drops the game on Friday night, Montreal and Winnipeg is going to be an exciting game. If Hamilton wins, there's nothing Montreal can do. And Montreal, Winnipeg, that's going to be a hard one to handicap. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Before we do, just want to let you know that the NBA tips off this week. It already tipped off, so make sure you subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast for daily picks podcast. Tune into the NBA Gambling Podcast wherever you get your podcast. Channing saying great picks last week. That's probably good. Colby's not here to talk about his 8-0, 4-0 ATS 4-0 totals, but I'll hang my hat on my 7-1. I'm trying to think of which game I got wrong. Got my little notebook here, keeping records on Saskatchewan. I thought Saskatchewan would win outright. Well, I guess, wait a minute. I went 4-0 because I picked Saskatchewan. Colby went 3-1. I had that backwards. Well, fuck you, Colby. There we go. Looks like I was the bright one there, even with their backups. Well, there you go. Yeah, let's get to this week's games. This is going to be weird because we just talked about the standings. This first game could make other games irrelevant. But let's talk about that. Ottawa goes to Hamilton, where Hamilton is 14-point favorites. Ottawa did look good. They had some fight in them with Tyree Adams. But, we've talked about plenty of times in football, whether it's the CFL, NFL, UFL, you get that one-game bump from a quarterback that people don't really have the game tape on. They don't know how the offense is going to go with him. And that's what I feel like happened with Tyree Adams. Now you got the game tape on him. You know how he's going to run the offense. And here comes Hamilton, who absolutely needs this win, because if they get this win, they will have the 1 seed in the East there. So that's an important one because they want that home field advantage, right? So Hamilton's 14-point favorites. I know that seems like a lot of points, but I think Ottawa had their week last week. I think that explosion of points is not going to happen again. And Hamilton is going to, they're going to make a run here. And Kenny Lawler anytime touchdown is a good bet to take as well. That would give him 15 on the year, and just to add to his career here, and kind of put him on a list with some really good names of guys that have had 15 touchdown seasons. So I'm taking Hamilton minus 14. I think they rout him. I like the over as well. I think you're going to have some points by both teams, but I think this is one where Hamilton really flexes their muscle, really flexes their ability to score points. And Bo Levi, some people have said that Rourke will get the most outstanding Canadian, leaving Bo Levi to get the MOP. We'll see how that goes. He has looked good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's played at the level that Rourke has, but Bo Levi has looked very rejuvenated. So give me Hamilton. Give me the over on that one. Next game, we got Calgary at Edmonton. Calgary, of course, they need to win because if they win, they'll be rooting for Saskatchewan to beat BC, and then they'll be the 2 seed in the West Division. And they'll be playing BC will be playing at Calgary rather than the other way around. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And Calgary's a 6-point favorite against Edmonton. I don't think that's enough. I know it's in Edmonton, but I mean, it's not like Edmonton's a powerhouse at home. Cody Fajardo looked bad last week. I think he'll probably want to bounce back some, but this Calgary team, they looked very good. Like I said, Vernon Adams only threw the ball 14 times. They still put up 44 points. So I think this is a game where it should be more than a 6-point spread. Calgary needs this one. Edmonton, their season's done. Yeah, they're playing for some pride, but does Edmonton have pride? Sorry there, Eskimos. I just don't know if you do. But yeah, give me Calgary minus 6. Chalk here. 2 chalk in a row. I like the over again. I think Calgary can put up 40-some points, and we know Edmonton can score here and there. So over 53.5 feels like a solid play. Next up, we got Montreal at Winnipeg. We're moving right along here where, again, this depends on what happens in that Ottawa-Hamilton game, because if Hamilton loses, Montreal has something to play for. If Hamilton wins, they really don't. I mean, and Winnipeg's got a lot to play for as well if Calgary loses. So they could also potentially leapfrog BC. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are there. But anyways, that's going to be one to watch. But I think Montreal, they got a lot of fight in them, and I don't think they want to just roll over just because things are wrapped up. So even if Hamilton does win, I don't think they want to go, yeah, we're good. We don't really need to play. Yeah, they're going to want to protect their players, but I still think they're going to show up. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I do think they're going to cover that 5.5. Give me Montreal. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line. Winnipeg has not looked impressive. I realize that, yeah, they're 9-8. I also realized that I should be rooting for Winnipeg. The last future I have to cash besides Grey Cup winner right now is Montreal under 10.5 wins that we gave out on our preview show to begin the season. I took Montreal under the 10.5 wins. That's still live. Obviously, they only have 10. So if they lose this game, that cashes. But unfortunately, I don't think they lose the game. And I definitely don't think Winnipeg covers. If Winnipeg wins, it's going to be another gross 17-16 win like they just got in Saskatchewan against backups, mind you, against backup players. So give me Montreal plus 5.5 and give me the under. These are two good defenses. It's going to be a slow, grinded out game. Finally, to close out the week. And again, we have 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. So the Friday games are for Central Time. I don't know what your time zone is. I know Colby's in Eastern there, but I'm Central Time. So you're getting Central Times now. We got 6 p.m. on Friday, 8:30 p.m. on Friday. I like that. Stay up late watching a little CFL. And then Saturday we got 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Those are the ones that Colby likely will miss because they'll be wrapped up in college football. But when you care a little bit more about the CFL than the college football, I mean, I like both. Don't get me wrong. I like both, but I'm more invested, I'll say, in the CFL So I'll be watching those CFL games for y'all. So when Colby says, I didn't have eyes on these, what happened? I can let you know. Anyways, it closes out with BC at Saskatchewan. Of course, Saskatchewan, nothing to play for, though they had nothing to play for last week and almost won, only lost by that point. BC, it all depends on what happens, right? If Calgary wins and Winnipeg wins, then BC needs to win. And I think at least one of those teams do. At least one of those, Calgary or Winnipeg. Even if it's not both, one of them are winning. Therefore, I think BC needs to play for something Saskatchewan doesn't. So give me BC -7. I think that they flex their muscles just like last week when they beat Edmonton 37-24. They flex, they beat Saskatchewan. I like the under in this one though as well. I think Saskatchewan has a really good defense even when it is backup players. I think they run a tight ship there. So BC maybe not able to move the ball as easily, and Saskatchewan with its backups not putting up as many points. So I think I like the under there as well as BC -7. So, I'm going to keep rambling to you guys in a second here. I'm going to give out my parlay, of course, the Huge Tits Parlay, because we are the home of the Huge Tits Parlay. Going to give out my DFS lineup. But before I do, I got to let you know that we are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none, and their motto is one that's true to my heart: bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Just head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Not sure if they're available in Canada, but they're available in 35 plus states in the United States. They're America's #1 sports prediction market. And on Novig, you're getting the best prices. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5. If you use our promo code SGPN, get on the action with Novig promo code SGPN. All right. We are back. And by we, I mean me. The problem with these solo pods, and when Colby's ranting and yelling about hating the NFL and why the CFL is better, I can usually take like a little drink to hydrate the cords and everything. And when you're doing a solo pod, you can't. So you got to sneak quick ones in. Shout out to my unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death, unofficial sponsor of Old Fashioned Football. I say unofficial because they don't sponsor us at all, but I'm always drinking them. So, yeah, shout out to them. All right, I already said it. We're home of the Huge Tits Parlay. I've done all right on my parlays. We hit last week, right? Let me see here. Got to make sure I'm accurate there. Well, I have it written down here. Yeah, and I did hit. So couldn't remember. Hit a couple bets, parlaying. I couldn't remember which one I gave out on the show. We did hit that, which makes sense since I was the one that went 8-0, not Colby. Can't believe I gave him the credit for that. But that's how it's been all year, right? He's been riding my coattails as I've been hitting these parlays. He has not. And he can give me some shit for the parlays not paying out as well. That's fine. But that's okay. I think it's going to hit again, though. I'm feeling good about this one. I got Hamilton -14, Calgary -4.5, BC -7.5. So just chalking it all up. I'm not touching the Montreal Winnipeg game, the only game I'm on a dog, but I'm not touching that one. I'm just taking these favorites that I feel good about. And $50 will get you $353.76. I know it's not that huge 10-1 plus payout. It's a little over 6-1, but as I've said to Colby many times, all sizes count. All sizes matter, and we don't judge here. So good luck on that. Hopefully it hits. Let's talk a little DFS. Now this was interesting because when you think about it, some teams may be playing for nothing, and so that was a little problematic. So I tried to kind of hone in on teams that I knew were playing for something and start with that and then build from there. And that starts with Bo Levi Mitchell. I talked about Hamilton needs this game. They play Ottawa, who is not a very good defense. He is a expensive quarterback at 10,600. However, Bo Levi has played very well, and I expect him to do so again. And so, yeah, that's my quarterback. For running back, I was I was torn on this. You're going to have to watch to see who plays. Again, if BC has nothing to play for and they're not going to be starting their players, you're going to have to swap in the backup, because I went with James Butler. Since that's the last game too, you can't just say, well, we'll see how it goes. You'll just have to swap his backup in. But I went with James Butler. I'm a big James Butler fan, former Iowa Hawkeye James Butler. 9,200, and he catches the ball, he runs the ball. He's had kind of an up and down year. I realize that, but I'm not afraid of taking a little James Butler. Moving on to my highest priced wide receiver, and I paid up, which made the rest of my lineup, because I now have a $10,600 quarterback. I have a $9,200 running back. Then I added a $10,400 wide receiver who I already talked about, needing to get one touchdown to reach 15 on the season, and just kind of cement himself as one of the better wide receivers we've seen in the CFL, and that's Kenny Lawler. I'm stacking him with Bo Levi Mitchell because I think he's going to get that touchdown, and with that touchdown, he's going to get catches and yards. And so, yeah, there's no way I'm going to fade him now. No way at all. So, yeah, I got Bo Levi Mitchell, James Butler, and Kenny Lawler to start the lineup. Now, I'll give out the value plays in just a second. But before I do, I got to let you know that we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' stats. Available for a ton of sports, including CFL. And Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code OFF. SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing it in college football and NFL with picks and props. Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. You just have to track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right. The rest of the podcast is commercial free, as they say over on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Make sure you check them out. Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb do a great job. They win a lot of money. I'm not a racing fan. I guess I'll watch it if it's on, but it's never kind of enticed my interest, I guess. But they do a great job with it. I listen to them because not only are they entertaining to listen to, but they've won me some cash, and that's all you can ask for. And Rod, of course, shout out to Rod, who was the godfather, the creator of the CFL Gambling Podcast. So anyways, back to our DFS lineups. Just as a reminder, I got Bo Levi Mitchell, James Butler, Kenny Lawler, and now I'm adding $5,600 wide receiver out of Winnipeg, Jareth Stearns. This is a guy that's been pretty solid all year. You're not going to get those 20-point games likely, but you are going to get consistency. You're going to get some points. So I had to do value plays from here on out. And with a value play, you want a guy that can get you consistent points, right? It's okay to go with some boomer bust, especially when you have those high dollar guys. Maybe they'll make up if there's a bust, but I actually prefer for myself to do consistency over that. So speaking of another guy that's consistent, Montreal's Cole Speaker, 5,400. That's my next player in my flex spot here. And we'll just keep rolling. My final flex spot, Keon Schaefer-Baker of Saskatchewan, who in the past 3 weeks here has had 2 games over 20 points, but he's only 4,600. The market hasn't adjusted. So yeah, I got Keon Schaefer-Baker. So just quick run through, because I know I'm flying through these. It's a little different when you're not bouncing back and forth. I got Bo Levi Mitchell, James Butler, Kenny Lawler, Jareth Stearns, Cole Speaker, and Keon Schaefer-Baker, which leaves me with just my defense. I don't think Montreal will have anything to play for, because I think Hamilton's going to win that first game. So give me the Blue Bombers to keep it to a low scoring game. And if Montreal doesn't have anything to play for, maybe they don't play Davis Alexander. I still think he's going to play. I still think they're going to put in the effort, but I think it'll be a low scoring game. The total is 49.5. It's the lowest total on the board this week, and I still like the under. So give me the under on that, and less points is only going to help your defense. So yeah, that's all I got there. Blue Bombers defense, 3,700. I left $500 on the table, but that's okay, especially with CFL. Make sure you give us a follow, subscribe to us on YouTube, download on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. All that helps. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a 5-star review if you can. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you give me a follow. You can find me on Twitter at JMark Football. Follow Old Fashioned Football. Not talking Canadian over there. We're talking NFL, something that we know Colby hates, but we've been cashing some good money over there, throwing together some nice little same game parlays. And if you haven't joined the show before, we like to do this thing where we take just $20. You see a lot of those $10 to 10,000 or $10 to 1,000 ladder crap things. This is a little different, our own little twist on it. So $20, we could go out and buy a bottle of Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. Solid bourbon. I have it in a decanter over down here. You can't see it behind my chair and shoulders, but I do have it down there. Could go out and buy that, right? I could go out and buy that for $20. I think it's technically, I think it's $21.99 now due to inflation, but it used to be in that $18.99 to $19.99 range. But instead of buying that, we're putting a little action on NFL, and we hit a teaser last week. So our bottle worth is now up to $44. We're going to keep betting it, of course. We need to get it a little bit higher. But if we hit the bets that we gave out this week, so check out Old Fashioned Football to get those. If we hit those, our bottle will now be up to $120. $120, that's a decent amount to buy a bottle of whiskey. Then we ask the chat. This is why you got to tune in. We ask the chat, hey, should we cash out and buy a $120 bottle, review it on the show, or should we let it ride, see if we can get something a little bit more? It'd be sweet to get into that $200 to $300 range, but we're just going to have to see how it goes, right? So, yeah, that's all I have got. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Colby will be back next week when we're going to be talking playoffs. The playoffs are here. This season went very fast, but it's been fun. I love the CFL, of course, and give us a follow. Tune in next week and tell Colby next week how awesome I did, and that, yeah, his color commentary is great, but we know who the true host and the true king of the CFL is, and not the king of spring. We'll give that to CJ Sullivan this past year, but I'll take the king of CFL. Don't be giving me no king's protest. I'm just kidding. I know I'm not really a king over Canada. Just don't get me canceled now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week. And that's all I got for right now. Let's hope it gives me some better music this time to kick us out of here. But of course, don't forget to let it ride.